Mystery Beneath the Baneberry Bush. Explained by the novel by Emma Jean H. Rose, based on the Thomas Jefferson Beale ciphers. Episode 2. The Hidden Chamber. The Beale cipher wasn't just about names. It was about a place. Emma Jean H. Rose decoded its coordinates, not to Virginia, but to a valley in Pennsylvania, a place called Beans Cove. What she found there wasn't speculation. It was a chamber, a vault, a buried story ready to surface.
I identified Beans Cove, Pennsylvania, as the place where this treasure is supposed to be because it was clearly pointed out in the code after I deciphered it.
Emma didn't follow legend. She followed text. The cipher described a region, and the region matched exactly. A 4-mile valley, the name Buford, the shift from myth to map.
In the journal, one specific landmark is mentioned about a hole that 2 streams emptied into and made a loud noise. Visited that hole where the 2 streams emptied into. They are now have been diverted around that hole in order to provide water downstream. I expect that whenever they were emptying into that hole, those streams are much larger than they are now, but even so, they're still rather large streams. Between 2 guys, one thought the other had poisoned his mules that he used for hauling salt to Boston and those places. And so this person's last name was Blue. There's a blue hole up there, still up there, they call the Blue Hole, that when the boys were all growing up, they said they went swimming in that hole. And the story up there says that Blue drowned in that hole. That's probably why it's called the Blue Hole. But there's also a big, big rock up there where a different duel was fought, and that rock is still visible. In landmarks, the Purdue Cemetery is still behind the house that the Cessnas now live in that the Purdue's built. And in that cemetery, there's an old rock, just a rock standing up that Ted has been engraved in. And Ted was the brother-in-law to Gilbert Bean.
Landmarks, names, water patterns. Even the grave of Ted, Bean's brother-in-law, still stands in the cemetery behind the property. This wasn't coincidence. This was convergence. Code aligning with terrain.
It talks about a cave and where they had built this underground vault, and Carl Cessna identified where there was a cave there. Going over it with GPR, with metal detector, with GPR, and by Dave Decker's research with a magnetometer, all come up to the same place, identify the same place as something valuable in the ground there. The cave is no longer visible from the outside, but the code says it vents on Ma's Big Bog. And Cessnas, who said they put drain pipes in that bog across from the ledge, said they did this in order to farm the land, and the Big Bog is no longer there now. But the ledge is still there that's identified by research.
Science caught up with story. 3 separate tools, radar, magnetometer, detector, all pointed to the same point. An invisible cave, a sealed vault, and proof layered in soil, not speculation.
The local residents would be the Cessna family that lives around in the area. Some of them still live on the farm. And they definitely supported this, but said they remembered, they took me to the landmarks that I wanted to identify. They also supported the fact that all their lives, they said they had heard there was a treasure buried in Beans Cove, but no one knew where to look for it.
They knew the stories. Emma brought the evidence. For generations, locals spoke of hidden treasure. What they didn't know was, someone had left a coded trail to find it. The cipher didn't just tell a story, it described the land itself.